these are some special zone levels before the castle. Brick Menace. Looks and feels like something out of Super Mario Bros. 1. Oh my god, Hammer Brothers. This level has but one fatal flaw. Wait till you see it. If you don't have a cape feather here, I ask of you, how the hell are you supposed to get through this wall? I think Blackout was intending for these Koopas to be able to break all the blocks and let you through, but the Koopas knock themselves out before you can do that. So if you don't have a feather for this part, or a leaf in this case, the level is impossible, simply because it was not tested. When will he ever understand the benefits of having a game tester? Or at least making sure his designs work by himself. I think you could easily figure that out in one run-through of this level, but something is wrong. Cave of SMB1. So you have another Super Mario Bros. 1 style level. Okay, this level is chaos. You're gonna have to somehow squeeze through this tiny little passage. And then you have another really claustrophobic section with all of these enemies to deal with. Hammer Brother and a Boomerang Brother. Sure, it's not a lot of enemies, but still, they're really powerful. If you don't have a cape, then I don't even imagine this section would be doable at all. Unless you just brute forced it and safe scummed. Or got really lucky, but I can't even imagine that. Alright, so here's another special zone level called Dark Garden. It doesn't even look like a garden, but it doesn't even look that dark either, wow. Most certainly doesn't seem to be a garden at all. What? Okay, here's what happened. There is a piranha plant in that pipe. But the piranha plant does not appear in front of other objects. Like, this waterfall is obscuring the view of the plant completely. This waterfall, you cannot see the plant. You can see the fireballs it shoots, but you could easily just run into that not even knowing anything is there, and you'll just die from that. Flying Lab. Okay, now this is a really weird one. I wonder if this level is even doable. Because of what I've seen from it already. Again with the blind jumps and not knowing where to jump. You'll need to quickly figure out that there are invisible blocks here to work with, so you can actually go up there. If you touch the lava, you're going to die. I mean, the lava will kill you. Hammer Brothers to deal with. Like, this is ridiculous. The difficulty is absolutely absurd at this point. It's barely even doable at all. And you have to really quickly think, oh, there's gonna be an invisible block there. What are the chances you'll figure that out before you get killed? Of course, I went the wrong way and died. This level goes on for a while and you'll get a lot of power-ups, plus the fact that all is scrolling, so you have to continuously react very fast to everything you see. So you somehow manage to figure all this stuff out before it's too late. And there's some particularly hard enemies to dodge in this one too, so good luck getting through this one. And what do you get after all that? The fight against the Magic Bro, with the Ghost Sphere right behind him, so you don't even have to kill him. Just get it and get out. Bramble Mayhem is a level inspired by Bramble Blast, as if we didn't see enough of those already. Except this one is actually even worse. Look at this. I need to slow this down and zoom this in so you can see it for yourself. The hitboxes on these brambles are very weird. As there could be a bit of space between you and the brambles and you'll still get hit. So you have to be extra careful around these brambles just so you can actually manage to squeeze past them. And then there's this one. You have to squeeze in between these brambles and you're given one block's width to do so. The jump is barely even possible. You have to be extremely lucky to squeeze through there without taking damage. According to one reviewer, it was actually impossible to do this. Maybe I just did the impossible through pure luck. Thankfully, it's a very short level, but that one passage to squeeze through one block's width, with both of the walls hurting you, It's almost impossible to do that. And if you don't have a power-up, you're probably just gonna die anyway. Because I had a cape, and that really helped me control my movement down there. Sky torpedoes. So you have another airship level. This time, it's mainly torpedo teds you have to worry about, for whatever reason. From what I remember, this too is another troublesome level, even though all you have to deal with is torpedo teds, but there are some really hard jumps, and you'll somehow have to make all of them. And that's that level for you. Literally, the main threats are torpedo teds and just falling into holes and having to deal with the auto-scrolling. Other than that, there's really nothing to be scared of. If you have a cape bender, of course, this is a lot easier. You'll then get to the Castle of Dark Lich, despite the fact there's one more level after this one. So essentially, you're now storming through, apparently, the Dark Lich's castle. Like, what kind of a place is this for a castle? This is awkward. So this is just an all-out marathon. There are no commit points, you just have to do all of it in one shot. And yes, you're gonna see two bosses you've already seen if you played Ludwig's Keep. You'll see these two bosses again. So no need to talk about them. Aside from the fact that they are horribly cloned Brutal Mario bosses, it's just a big boof fight with a moving layer too. These are just static images, and they're not even properly assembled. Not to mention, on all three of those blocks, there are shells. Except, you can't see any of the shells because of, yup, sprite memory error. So you may not even be able to figure out what's going on before you screw yourself over entirely by killing one of the shells. You'll then have a star run after you do that. A really easy star run compared to most of the other stuff I have to deal with already. Why does a section like this even exist? Thankfully, there's nothing else to worry about once you get to this point that you would need the star to deal with, but still, this should not have happened in the first place. Having to squeeze your guy through a section like that is just as annoying as all hell. We're just gonna let this hammer brother fall through the ground, and that should be the gist of it. Yep, he falls through the ground, so we don't need to worry about him. Yeah, we saw this boss too. I don't even know if you can get by this one without losing your power-up. One last room, and then there's the Dark Lich, and then that's the level. Except you now have to deal with Lakitus. What you need to do is kill the Lakitu with probably one of the bob-ups you're given. Then you fly up here and continue the level, dodging Boomerang Brothers. All this is done with, like, no mid-points. At least there are a few power-ups, but you'll probably get hit a bunch of times anyway and just lose them, because I think some parts of the level cannot even be done without taking a hit. Like some of the bosses. And yes, get ready for the Dark Lich. I mean, this is one of the coolest bosses ever made. Just look at it in Brutal Mario. And of course, I'd like you to take a guess how it appears in this hack. No need to even be surprised. Except this one is way harder than you think. Look at that last shell and where it's placed, and I somehow have to get to that shell, then get back despite the moving layer. It would be an ideal time to go now, but that shell is in a location where you can't even reach it. I actually tried to beat this boss a few times off camera, and it was very hard to do. At first, I thought this was actually an impossible fight. Of course, the Dark Lich does nothing at all. More like a prisoner, if you ask me. Like, he doesn't even want to be here. He was put in here against his own will. Yeah, all of that is just muncher hell, so there's almost nothing you can do at all at this point. You're usually gonna have only one power-up anyway, because you'll have lost the second one in the second boss fight. After this, you finish the level, but it's near impossible to do this. Wait, what are you supposed to even do here? I know getting the last shell, but I can't even imagine how you do this. It's not worth it. After that, you get To Be Continue, which is not really a level. It's just the Dark Lich kills you, and that's that. Much like Brutal Mario, where the last level of it usually get killed by some boss. And that is Super Mario Kollision, a hack you should very well stay away from. Of course, Hammer Brother Demo 3 is still worse. As Kollision, we didn't have Ratchet scrolling, invisible coin blocks abused pretty much the whole way through. And some of the Hammer Brother Demo 3 levels were way more frustrating than you could ever imagine, like Gravity Bond, Green Ice Knight, and Imperator's Palace, which likely have to contend for worst level design in history. Sure, Fort of Lemmy was also bad, but this wasn't quite as bad overall. The saddest thing about this hack is that some of the earliest levels of it actually looked promising, and then we went to a horribly cloned Brutal Mario. As you progressed further and further in the Romhack, it somehow managed to get worse and worse and worse and worse, until you got to the special zone, where the ass volcano just erupted, leaving behind a huge residue of shit. I can't help but think, what's going on through our minds when we actually enjoy looking at reviews of hacks like this? What are we becoming these days? Why are we so interested in looking at these? What's happening to us? I think I know what's going on. We're shit diggers. We dig for shit, and then we review it and talk about it for the whole world to see. In fact, that could actually continue on a bit, despite the fact the hack is over. Blackout was going to make a sequel to Super Mario Collision, hence the fact that this is called Super Mario Collision 1. There was actually going to be a Super Mario Collision 2. Needless to say, there's no point in reviewing that for two good reasons. One, it's essentially a continuation of everything that could be done wrong in this hack. More poorly cloned bosses and ideas from Brutal Mario, and a bunch of the typical bad level design traits. And two, the second one was never even finished nor formally released. Much like the angry video game nerd, it's as if someone would take a shit and bury it and then someone else would decide to dig it up. It's like, what do you expect? And oh, what's the point? I've talked about Super Mario Collision 1, I've probably talked about Collision 2 while I'm trying. Oh, and aside from Hammer Brother Demo 3 and Collision, there was apparently going to be another Blackout hack. Listed in the credits, according to this screenshot, Blackout wasn't just working on a hack called Hammer Bros, which, yeah, you've already seen Hammer Brother Demo 3 and what that was like. There was apparently also going to be a hack called Core of Retails? Believe me, I couldn't even come up with a title half as crazy even if I tried. Wonder what that would be like. When I tried to search for Core of Retails or something that resembled it, I couldn't find a single thing at all. I couldn't find anything that had to do with it, so likely that was never even started and we'll never see it. We can only hope that we'll never see that fresh hell. So it's been fun with this wish list. And I'm practically surprised that this whole idea of half Let's Play, half clip show worked so well. Though there are so many jump cuts everywhere, it's kind of ridiculous. It's actually a really convenient form of making videos. It has this upside over a Let's Play that it doesn't take nearly as much time to sit through and watch. It still points out the strengths and weaknesses of the hack and does what my Let's Plays are usually intended to do. To offer insight to help people out, to let them know whether the hack is good or bad, or whether they should play it or avoid it. I don't know if I'll be doing more of these in the future, except for worst hacks and best hack clips to clip downs, but it was a really fun style of video, and I was really happy to be able to do it. That concludes the wish list. It was great, guys. Thanks for your requests. Hoping to be doing this next year in 2015. Oh, and one more thing. If any of you ever see Blackout by any chance, tell them that this statement is just wrong.